Hello all, I am the Holland Phantom, and for today's video we're going to be having a live battle from the 2015 format. On one side, we've got the Mega Manectric deck, as used by Brent Tonisson, a top 4 Worlds competitor in the senior division, going up against the Seismitoad EX deck, as used by Patrick Martinez, the world champion of the senior division. So we'll see which of these two decks can take the victory today. But before we begin, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe to this channel and to my Twitter account at Holland_Phantom so you don't miss out on any new Pokemon TCG content. And now with it out of the way, let's get into the battle. And here we go, the battle has started, with both players flipping over their starting Pokemon. On the Mega Manectric side, we've got Manectric EX as the active Pokemon, and on the Seismitoad side, we've got Seismitoad EX as the active Pokemon with the Zubat on the bench. The Manectric side is going first, attaching a Lightning Energy to their Pokemon, and the Spirit Link. So with the Spirit Link attached, the player does not have to end their turn once his Manectric evolves into its Mega form. Okay, on Seismitoad's side, the player activates N as their supporter for the turn, so both players have to shuffle away their entire hands to draw 6 cards apiece. Okay, so there's both of the new hands being drawn. Let's see what the player gets. Okay, the energy attachment is going to be a double colorless energy coming down to the Seismitoad to power up its first attack, Quaking Punch, hitting for 30 damage. So it doesn't deal a whole lot of damage, but it is the main attack of this entire deck, as it also shuts down the opponent from using any item cards for the rest of their turn. Okay, over to the Manectric side, a second Lightning Energy comes down, followed by the supporter N. Once again, both players shuffle away their hands to draw 6 cards apiece. So let's see if the player gets their Mega Pokemon to start attacking. Not yet, but there's a Stadium Rough Seas. The player can activate it once per turn to heal 30 damage from their Water and Lightning Pokemon, so all the damage that was just done by the Seismitoad is undone. Okay, and the player attacks with Assault Laser, hitting for 60 damage, and now turn passes back over to the Seismitoad side. The Seismitoad side can also use the Rough Seas, as Seismitoad is a Water-type Pokemon, healing 30 damage, and now the player replaces the stadium with a Verbank City Gym. And there's a third end of the game, one right after the other. Once again, players are going to be shuffling with their hands to draw 6 cards. And let's see if we get any more bench Pokemon or evolutions coming down. There's a second Seismitoad coming down to the bench, which also gets a double colorless energy. There's the attack once again. It's going to be Quaking Punch, hitting for another 30 damage. And now turn passes once again. Let's see what they get. Another Rough Seas. So the player once again activates the ability to heal all the damage off of the Manectric. So undoing all the damage that was done once again, but they still cannot use any item cards. And now Mega Manectric comes into the active spot, and a second Manectric EX comes down onto the bench. And there's the attack, Turbo Bolt, hitting for 110 damage. Really powerful attack. Now going back over to the Seismitoad side, the player activates Hypnotoxic Laser. Here's a coin flip, and it is heads. So with Hypnotoxic Laser, the opponent's Pokemon is automatically poisoned, and with a coin flip of heads, it is also put to sleep. Okay, there's a Rough Seas activating for the Seismitoad side, healing 30 damage. And there's another Quaking Punch, hitting for 30 damage. So far that's 90 damage done, although it's been wiped away by the Rough Seas. Okay, there's a coin flip between turns. It was tails, meaning that Mega Manectric does not wake up. Okay, Lightning Energy comes down to the benched Pokemon now. And there's Rough Seas activating once again to heal the damage off. So there's 10 damage remaining, as it was damaged by the poison between turns. And there's the fourth end of the game. Again, shuffling away all the players' hands to draw 6 cards apiece. And nothing else is done. The turn passes. Another 10 damage comes down to the Mega Manectric, and there's a coin flip. And another tails! So Manectric remains asleep between turns. Back over to the Seismitoad side once again. There's Rough Seas, healing another 30 damage off the active Seismitoad. And there's Pokemon Center Lady as the support of the turn, healing an additional 60 damage off the active Pokemon. A second Zubat comes down onto the bench now, and now Golbat comes down to the bench. It activates its ability Sneaky Bite, dealing 20 damage to the opposing Manectric. And here's another Verbank City Gym to replace the Rough Seas. Oh, and followed by the item card, what's it called? Headringer. This is a very unique card. The player can attach it to their opponent's Pokemon. So in this case, coming down to the bench Manectric, and now Manectric's attacks now cost an additional colorless energy. Okay, the player then attacked with Quaking Punch, hitting for 30 damage. And now in between turns, thanks to the effect of the Verbank City Gym, Poison now deals 30 damage instead of 10. Okay, there's a coin flip to do the sleep check, but it was another Tails, so once again, Mega Manectric cannot attack. Okay, a second Lightning Energy comes down to the benched Manectric EX, followed by a Bunnelby. And there's Colress as the supporter for the turn. The player shuffles away their entire hand to draw one card for each benched Pokemon on both sides. So it's going to be a total of 5 cards being drawn. Let's see if they get any new Pokemon to play. Okay, there's the third Rough Seas to once again replace the Verbank City Gym. It activates to heal 30 damage off the Mega Manectric. So it's down to just 70 damage. And now the benched Manectric evolves into its Mega form, which automatically ends the turn as it does not have the Spirit Link attached. Okay, in between turns, the player finally gets a heads on the coin flip, so Mega Manectric finally wakes up. There's another 10 damage coming down for the poison. And let's see what the Seismitoad player can do. There's the Rough Seas to heal the rest of the damage off the Seismitoad, and there's Muscle Band as the item card. It's equipped to the Seismitoad to increase its attack power by 20 points. And now Quaking Punch hits for 50 damage. Okay, there's all the damage coming down. Back over to the Manectric side. Mega Manectric, it looks like it's going to be retreating now. Yeah, it's going to be the play. The active one retreats for free. To promote the new one, it's got no damage on it. It does need a third energy to start attacking, thanks to the ability of the Headringer from the Seismitoad side. But first, there's the Rough Seas activating once again, taking 30 damage off the benched Manectric. And yes, the player did have the third Lightning Energy in hand. So Turbo Bolt is now in effect. There's the attack declared, hitting for 110 damage. Now back over to the other side. Do they have any more evolutions to spread damage? Let's see what they do. Ultra Ball discards 2 cards from the hand to search the deck for any Pokemon. And the one chosen is going to be Shaman EX to draw some more cards out of the deck. There's Shaman coming down, activating its ability Setup. And now the player can draw cards until they have 6 cards in their hand. So a really powerful draw Pokemon. And there's Super Scoop Up activating. The player flips a coin, and it is heads. So they pick up their Seismitoad to undo all the damage that was done. And now they send in their second one. Okay, the first one comes back down onto the bench. And the active one now gets a Rock Guard as their tool. And the bench one gets the double colorless energy back onto it. And there's the attack, another Quaking Punch, hitting for 30 damage now. Keeping the trainer lock going. Sorry, the item lock going. There was Rough Seas from the Manectric side, healing all the damage off the benched one. Sorry, off the active one. And 30 damage off the benched one. So the Rough Seas is putting in a lot of work. No more cards to play. There's the attack, another Turbo Bolt, hitting for 110 damage, but it also triggers the effect of the Rock Guard on the Seismitoad, hitting Mega Manectric for 60 damage in recoil. Okay, a third Zubat comes down to the bench now for the Seismitoad side, so they have a full bench. And now the bench Seismitoad gets a Muscle Band. There's going to be the item card, Versus Seeker, to search the discard pile for Pokemon Center Lady, and now they can heal 60 damage off their active Pokemon. Okay, there we go. There's the damage being wiped away, so it's down to just 50 damage on it. And they can take another 30 off with the Rough Seas. So a total of 90 damage taken off this turn. And there's the attack once again, another Quaking Punch, hitting for 30 damage. And let's see what the Manectric side can do now. A third Manectric EX comes down onto the bench, which then gets a Water Energy. And now we see the effect of the Rough Seas, healing 30 damage off both of the Mega Manectric. So the benched one is down to just 50 damage on it. And there's the attack once again, Turbo Bolt, hitting for another 110 damage. But once again, the Rock Guard hits the Mega Manectric for another 60 damage. Okay, let's see what the Seismitoad player can do next. There's Rough Seas, healing another 30 damage once again. followed by Versus Seeker, searching the discard pile for Pokemon Center Lady once again to take another 60 damage off. Now Seismitoad is down to just 40 damage on it. Just continue to recycle the Pokemon Center Ladies to heal the active Pokemon. No more cards are played. There's the attack Quaking Punch, hitting for another 30 damage to keep the item lock going. Now back over to the other side. There's the Rough Seas, healing some more damage off their Pokemon. So the benched Manectric is down to just 20 damage now. And the active one has 120. So it looks like the player's going to be swapping them once again. The bench one comes into the active spot, and the active one comes down to the bench. It's a really useful ability, as both Pokemon have a free retreat cost, and the Rough Seas can continuously heal them. Okay, there's a Turbo Bolt. 110 damage onto the Seismitoad, but it does take the 60 recoil from the Rock Guard. And Ultra Ball now from the Seismitoad side, discarding 2 cards from the hand for any Pokemon from the deck. Let's see what they're going to be getting. It's going to be Crobat this time. This Crobat is going to be able to deal 30 damage to any Pokemon on the opponent's side. Okay, there's the Crobat coming down, activating its ability. Surprise Bite. So 60 damage in total, 30 from the Crobat and 30 from the Quaking Punch. Alright, there we go. Now back over to the Manectric side. A lot of quick turns from both players. Okay, first there's the Rough Seas, taking some damage off both of their Pokemon. Although both Manectric are looking to be pretty banged up now. They've taken a lot of damage from Seismitoad. And still neither side has taken any prize cards. But here we go, we're going to be seeing the first KO of the game. Turbo Bolt to take the KO against the active Seismitoad. The Manectric still takes the 60 damage recoil from the Rock Guard, but the player finally takes the first 2 prizes of the game. Okay, now the second Seismitoad comes into the active spot. No cards are played, the player goes straight for the attack. Quaking Punch to finally take the KO against Manectric. And on the Seismitoad side, also takes their first 2 prize cards. Okay, coming back over to the other side now, the second Manectric comes into the active spot. It has taken 90 damage so far, but there's the Rough Seas to take 30 of the damage off. And there's the attack, Turbo Bolt, hitting for 110 damage. And now the effect of Turbo Bolt can finally be activated. The player can search their discard pile for up to 2 basic energy cards to attach to one of their Pokemon. So 2 lightning energies come down to the benched Manectric EX. And now over to the other side, a third Seismitoad comes down onto the bench. And the player then activates their opponent, Rough Seas, to heal 30 damage. And then they activate Professor Juniper to discard their entire hand to draw 7 brand new cards. Let's see what they get. A lightning energy comes down to the bench Seismitoad now. And then the player activates Hypnotoxic Laser to poison the Mega Manectric and also puts it to sleep. So let's see if it remains asleep between turns so it doesn't attack. And does the player also have a way to get rid of the Rough Seas? No, they don't. They attack with the Quaking Punch, hitting for 50 damage, thanks to the effect of the Muscle Band. And, oh, the player does get heads between turns, so Mega Manectric does wake up. So that should be enough to take the KO against the Seismitoad. Okay, here we go. The player draws their card for the turn. They activate Rough Seas to heal 30 damage. So Mega Manectric has taken 90 damage so far. No cards are played. There's a Turbo Bolt, taking the second KO of the game. That is 4 prizes taken. So Mega Manectric just has to take the KO against one more Seismitoad to win this game. Okay, now between turns to take another 100 damage from the poison. And Crobat comes up as a new active Pokemon for the Seismitoad side, as it does have a free retreat cost. Okay, a second Lightning Energy comes down to the bench Seismitoad, and Manectric EX comes down to their bench as well. Followed by by the item Versus Seeker to search the discard pile for Professor Juniper to discard the rest of their hand to draw 7 new cards once again. Okay, let's see what they get. They need to deal at least 110 damage to take the KO against this Manectric, but I don't know if they can pull it off. Okay, here's the Seismitoad coming into the active spot now, which also gets a Muscle Band, giving it 20 extra attack power. And now Verbank City Gym also replaces the Rough Seas, finally. Next, Goldbat comes down, activating its ability to deal 20 damage to the Manectric, and there's the attack. Quaking Punch, hitting for 50 damage. And now between turns, the Verbank City Gym does an additional 30 damage through poison. So Manectric is down to just 10 HP remaining. It was so close to being KO'd. Manectric side activates Professor Sycamore as their support for the turn to discard their entire hand and draw 7 brand new cards. They need to get this Manectric out of the active spot so it doesn't get KO'd by the poison. And it looks like that's exactly what's going to be happening. The active Pokemon retreats to promote their basic Manectric, and a poison does come off the benched Pokemon. And there's the attack. Assault Laser hitting for 120 damage. 60 base damage and 60 more if the opposing Pokemon has a Pokemon tool attached. Okay, over to the Seismitoad side. There's another Crobat coming down, activating its ability to take the KO against the opposing Mega Manectric to take another 2 prizes. And now both sides are tied at 2 prizes remaining apiece. But things are not looking good for the Seismitoad player, as Seismitoad only has 60 HP remaining and they don't have any more attackers on their side of the field. Okay, there's a Cold Rest to draw 6 new cards out of the deck after shuffling away their hand. Let's see what they get. Do they have anything they can use? Okay, there's a Hypnotoxic Laser. This might help. There's a coin flip, and it is heads! So Manectric does go to sleep. It will not be able to attack if it doesn't wake up between turns. There's the attack. Quaking Punch hitting for 50 damage. In between turns, the Verbank City Gym hits for another 30 damage. And let's see if this Manectric can wake up. Here's the coin flip. And it's going to be heads! Manectric wakes up between turns, and that should be enough to take the final KO of the game. There's the attack. Assault Laser to take the KO against Seismitoad to take the final 2 prizes. And there's the handshake. Mega Manectric is your winner. So what did you guys think of that battle? Let me know down in the comments below. And be sure to leave a like, subscribe, and share this video to help this channel grow and reach new viewers. Thanks a lot for watching, and until next time, this is the Holland Phantom logging out.